Welcome to the 315 podcast, the show that's all about what's good in central New York. I'm Joe Lee. This week brings great excitement to the area as we kick off the 40th annual Syracuse International Jazz Fest. Who's performing? What's new? Where's it taking place? We're fortunate enough to have the festival's founder and executive producer and good friend, Frank Malfitano, with us so he can get us all hip to what's happening July 9 through 12. What's happening, Frank?
How you doing, Joe? It's good to see you again, man.
It's good to see you, too. Everybody's getting excited about what's going to be happening July 9 through 12 in the central New York area, man. We're looking forward to a great festival, looking forward to jumping into it with you. Let's talk a little bit about what's going to be happening.
Well, it all starts and ends with you at Syracuse University, our presenting sponsors this year, and you've been with us the last several years. And I mean, you're the reason we're still here, and I'm thrilled about that. And I'm thrilled about the way the relationship has evolved, and our Gospel to Jazz thing on Sunday that closes out the festival every year in a wonderful way. But this year we have something new and exciting on Thursday night, July 9th. We're going to be at the National Veterans Resource Center, which for people who don't know is on the corner of Waverly and South Krause, right in the heart of campus, right near Marshall Street. And it's an absolutely stunning facility with one of the most beautiful venues I've ever seen. And we're thrilled to be in that auditorium on opening night. And we're bringing in a world famous military jazz ensemble, the U.S. Air Force Airmen of Note, which is what became of the Glenn Miller Band after World War II.
Nice. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. America continues to celebrate 250-year anniversary of the birth of our nation throughout the country and throughout our county. So that's going to be opening night. Why did you feel it was important to kick things off during this big moment in our nation's history?
Well, Joe, in many ways, I really think Jazz Fest and the nation are kindred spirits. We've both been facing an existential crisis since day one. Everybody says, is Jazz Fest going to happen? Is it over? Is it over and done with? Is it still going? We never know if we're going to be here from year to year. We've done our best to stay around for 40 years, 44 years to be exact. And America has had its ups and downs over the last 250 years. And I think that's worth celebrating. I mean, I just learned that it's called a semi-quincentennial. And I'm thinking, well, we really need to celebrate that. And when I found out this was going to be our time frame, the first thing I thought of was, can we get a military jazz ensemble in here 5 days away from the 4th of July? And I called Washington and I said, listen, can you help us out? We'd really love to do this. And then when I went over and did the tour facility at the site, I just fell in love with the place and the people there. And I just thought this would be a great way to launch Jazz Fest this year. This is the kind of opening night celebration that the nation deserves, that Jazz Fest deserves. It's different from what we've done in the past, and that's what I like about it.
So, I mean, in Jazz Fest, normally outdoors, normally not a capacity issue. What's the capacity of the venue for the Airmen of Note? And how do folks, do you have to reserve space to be in there?
There is something like that in effect, and I'm not handling that aspect of it. You go to Ticketmaster, and free tickets are available, and we're offering seating to the first 650 people. That's the capacity of the auditorium. Okay. So, unlike the World Cup, we won't have a screen out on Marshall Street or something, but I think we'll be able to accommodate all of our veterans first and foremost that are served by the center and all those that want to attend. So it's going to be a stellar evening, and there'll be some presentations. There'll see great music, obviously, great jazz from one of the world's greatest big bands. And, representatives from the university and Jazz Fest will be there. It's going to be a wonderful kickoff.
Are these the musicians active military?
They are.
Members?
They are. Yeah, they're part of the Air Force. They're really in the Air Force, and this is their service. I mean, and they go all over the world, and they go all over the country to perform. And we're so thrilled to have them. They're great musicians. You got
Yeah,
to be
no.
great to make that band.
Yes, you do. Yes, and they've been performing together for quite well. The band has been in existence, probably with different members over the years, but in existence for quite some time.
Well, back to World War II that we know
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
I mean, that's 80 years. I mean, that's a pretty good run.
yeah. And we were when I was programming radio, over 30 years ago in Baltimore, we were taking their concerts, and I believe they were actually Fourth of July concerts.
The
That they were offering to public radio stations around the country. So yeah, quite the legacy, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they're going to do on Thursday. Beak and Skiff, it's a new venue for you. Talk about that a little bit.
Really excited about being up at Beak and Skiff. It's a beautiful site. I was just there this morning walking around the grounds, and it's absolutely spectacular. I mean, there are stores and food and beverage tents and merchandise tents, and there are actual outbuildings. You know, there's a grocery store where you can go in and buy things, and there's an Apple store, and there's a cider store, and there's, food stands and picnic tables, and this view of the valley and the city 10 miles away that's just extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. And we've had some really lovely sights in the past, but nothing that compares to this. This is really beautiful.
And this is not their first rodeo with programming music there. It's new for Jazz Fest, but they do some concerts there now, right?
They do about 20 concerts a summer, and they've been doing that for 10 years, but this is their first festival.
Okay, first
And
festival.
as the owner and president of Beak and Skiff, Eddie Brennan, said this morning, this is the pinnacle of what they've done for the last 10 years. And that's what appealed to them. We took a meeting with them in November in the snow, and up at their place, and they said, we'd love to host your festival and celebrate your 40th, and we've never done a multi-day festival with multiple acts, and it would be a crowning achievement for us, and would you consider it?
Nice.
And they just laid out the red carpet, and they've been great, Joe.
So, talk a little bit about what folks can expect from a logistical standpoint. Folks that haven't gone to a concert there before, what do they need to know?
Plenty of parking. Parking is free. Tons of parking. Nobody will not find a parking space. Everybody gets shuttled from the parking area over to the stage. Okay, there are golf carts. There's a flotilla of golf carts. And we'll be transporting and we'll be ADA compliant. So anybody that's got any physical challenges or difficulty getting around will be able to handle that. And the site is well prepared for that. There are paved pathways for people who are capable of walking in and prefer to walk in, and other people will get a ride.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. I want my own personal cart. Can you
You
get
want
me
your
a
own
WAER?
I got it.
All right, let's do that. So that venue offers opportunities for some other programming too. So you got some late night parties that are going to be going on. Los Blancos is going to be performing. Talk about the vision for that part of the festival. Keeps
Well,
the
we're going to
party going.
start. Yeah, no, that's a great point. We're going to start indoors at the tasting room, which is a huge nightclub. Reminds me of Jabberwocky on the SU campus. Big, spacious bar, wonderful food, lots of places to sit, great views from every place in the venue, giant open space. You can do an indoor-outdoor thing there. We might have the music outside if the weather's nice, and there's a big deck there that overlooks the city. It's going to be all new. It's largely experimental, but with this venue, we have the capability to have indoor events featuring our finest regional jazz artists from Syracuse who will be there. People like Drew Serafini and Frank Grosso and the Five Families Ensemble, and Mike Houston and Sam Wynn and Don Martin. And and also you mentioned Los Blancos is doing a late night party after the stuff on the outdoor stage concludes from 10:30 till whenever. And Pocket Knot is there another night. So, Yeah, that's going to be great. You get to go outdoors under the stars and hear some wonderful music, but then you get to come in and relax and put your feet up and have a drink or whatever.
And there's a capacity for that, right? And how does that get managed? Will there be a limited number of folks that can fit into that space?
Unlimited. It's going to be
Unlimited.
unlimited. Yeah, look at. There's no way. Let's say we get 10,000 people out at the outdoor stage. They're not all going to fit indoors,
Right.
but we'll figure something out. Maybe we will have screens outside. We are going to have the big screens next to the
Okay.
stage. So
Okay.
when people go, and there will be seating down in front for, that will provide
Hmm.
for sponsors and people who need seating. And I mean, that's what you can expect when you get there. But it's beautiful. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a completely unique experience.
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful on a regular day, so I can only imagine how it's going to be with all this energy and life teeming about, roaming about, enjoying music, and that festival atmosphere. Really looking forward to it. The festival doesn't happen without partners coming in to help provide the financial support and other support. I noticed that Micron is on board this year, and I know that they are trying to embed themselves in our community. Talk a little bit about that partnership. Do you think that's a long-term supporter, or are they just getting their feet wet?
I certainly hope it's a long-term partnership. I mean, we never know from year to year what's going to happen, and the culture around us changes in the fundraising universe. Sometimes people are willing to commit to 5 years, sometimes they're only willing to commit to a few years, and sometimes they'll do a 1 year try it before you buy it sort of situation. And I hope they come on board. I mean, obviously, they're coming into the region in a big, 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 big way. I mean, this is like a fantastic thing that's happening for Central New York and Onondaga County, and we're delighted to have them for a partner. At the same time, we're delighted to have Syracuse University for a partner. We're delighted to have Onondaga County for a partner, since 2001, for the last 25 years, or 26 years, whatever it is. And we at the New York State Assembly and Assemblyman Al Sturpey has really stepped up to the plate in a big way in the last 5 years and brought this festival back. So these strategic partners, and I've mentioned the biggies, okay? I probably should include Amazon in that group because that was a company that was instrumental in bringing us back into being after a 4 year hiatus. And all of these people make the festival possible. That's what I love about this the most. This is a community collective achievement. We didn't get to 40 years on our own. Jazz Fest didn't do it. Frank didn't do it. The community did it. The media did it. You've been our media partners since day one, from the first year, Joe. WAER has been a media partner. You're our longest running partner. We could not have done this without you. And in a way, Syracuse University has been connected for all of those 44 years. But every other sponsor, every fan, okay, every media outlet and partner, and most importantly, every artist that's ever set foot on our stage, regional artist, national artist, international artist, superstar, legend, they're the reason this festival has kept going. It's all about the music and the creators of the music. And we're just fortunate in that we get to be the presenters of the music and the preservationists of American heritage music, and in particular, African American music, which is American music. This is our music. So when we celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary, we're celebrating the fact that music was made during the Revolutionary War at the birth of this country. Those fife and drums that you see in the old pictures of the people in uniform with bandages around their heads, I mean, that was an essential part of the esprit de corps of keeping the troops motivated. I mean, we
Yeah.
want our freedom through the music, and jazz is all about freedom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I see all kinds of links and parallels here.
No, that's great. I am amazed always during the long history of this festival that you've been able to keep it a free festival.
Well, that's because of the sponsors.
Yeah.
If this wasn't free, no one would come.
Right.
I think jazz is a hard sell. I mean, if you want to sell classic rock and country, you go to the amphitheater. You want to have more classic rock and more country, you go to the state fair. And lately they're doing some hip hop, right? But everything else, all of the other musical disciplines that aren't often represented at those other performing arts complexes in town, you will see at Jazz Fest. You will see jazz. You will see funk. You will see gospel. You will see rhythm and blues. And I think we're adding to the overall programming mix of what's available to people in this part of the country. And I think that's another reason that we've survived so long. But the free admission policy is solely attributable to the generosity and philanthropy of all of the corporate sponsors and entities like Syracuse University and the county and the state that have bought into this vision. Everybody feels that this is something positive culturally for the region. I'm biased naturally, but I agree. Yeah. I like the fact that there's a world-class music festival happening in my hometown where I went to college and graduated from what I think is the best university in the world.
Yeah.
So
let's talk a little bit about what these sponsors are making possible. We have Tower of Power on Friday. I spoke to, on the last episode of this show, this podcast, Gunhild Carling. So I know she's going to bring a tremendous amount of energy, tribute to Louis Armstrong. And then we have also a Trombone Shorty, one of my personal favorites. Talk a little bit about your vision for putting together this slate of musicians and acts.
I'm glad we got to the music because, I'm not sure how interesting it is for people to learn how the sausage is made. It's the eating that I think the proof of the pudding is in the eating still. And I think this is all about the music. At least it is for me. Okay. Yeah. And I want to, as the programmer and the presenter of this music, who's producing the show, I want to leave people with a memory. And I want to bring in the most entertaining people I possibly can. And you've just described two of them. Let's just take two for an example, okay? Trombone Shorty has been on stage since he was 4, had his own band at 5, and he was touring at 6. Okay? He's 40 now. He's been doing it his entire life. Gunhild Carling grew up in a circus family in Sweden. She was on stage when she was 3, okay? I won't mention her age at this point, but she is as dynamic an entertainer as I've ever seen. She was on Sweden's Got Talent or Dancing with the Stars in Sweden. She tap dances, she juggles. She plays 11 instruments, including harmonica and bagpipe. She plays 3 trumpets at once. These aren't just jazz musicians. Trombone Shorty is the history of New Orleans music all rolled up in a ball. And you're going to see jazz parade music from the second lines, from the funeral bands. You're going to see the history of New Orleans on stage. I mean, New Orleans is the birthplace of jazz, so that's a reason it's always been part of Jazz Fest. And there's nobody better right now, no better practitioner than Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue. They're the epitome of New Orleans bands, man. Who else did we mention? Tower of Power.
Tower of Power.
Well, they've only been on the road. They came out of Oakland the same time as Sly and the Family Stone, and they've been on the road for 58 years. 58 years with original members on stage. So, I mean, it doesn't get any tighter than that. It's kind of like the Basie Band. Nobody swung that hard with that much power and that happened because those guys were riding a bus for 30 some odd years together, doing a bunch of one-nighters.
Those 3 acts alone say party. I mean, it just says that there's going to be a tremendous amount of energy and, I envision dancing, people just up and moving, singing, and really celebrating. And, I think that programming lineup coinciding with America 250 is perfect right? And when you talk about Gun Hill Carling doing a tribute to Louis Armstrong, who has been a staple of jazz and she's probably doing some Bix and some other early New Orleans style hot jazz acts and artists, really digging into the history of the music, which I think is perfect for this 250 celebration.
I do too. I mean, Lewis is iconic. For me, the greatest jazz singer that ever lived, maybe the greatest jazz artist that ever lived. You know, everybody defines jazz differently, everybody experiences music subjectively. But beyond all that, there are people who cut through all that and reach everybody. And Lewis was that artist. So we're also doing a couple of tributes to Sylvester Sly Stone.
Dumpster Funk.
Dumpster Funk, the sons of the Neville brothers, I like to call them. It's Ivan and Ian Neville, who are Art and Aaron's Neville's sons from the Neville brothers. Yeah, they're going to be doing a tribute to Sly and the Family Stone called Dumpster Plays Sly.
Nice.
I can't wait to dance to the music.
Yeah, again, it's giving party. It's really giving party vibes. So looking forward to that. And then
hit after hit.
Yeah.
Hit after hit, Joe.
And then when getting back to important partners, Syracuse University, we're going to wrap things up on Sunday at Hendricks Chapel with the Winston-Salem State University Choir. Talk a little bit about the sort of the idea and the vision for bringing it home to gospel.
You know, down in New Orleans at Jazz and Heritage Festival, there is a huge gospel tent. And I saw so many great things when attending that festival. I mean, I saw a 65-member gospel choir on stage, and Aaron Neville came in and sang with them, and Mahalia Jackson. And I mean, I've seen some remarkable things there. Clara Ward, you know, I mean, so when you see the greatest gospel artists with these gigantic gospel choirs, you understand how gospel connects to jazz and all the other, you know, branches of the tree that share the same musical roots. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, we started having a conversation with the university and they said, would you be open to this? And I met with the dean of Hendricks Chapel and we sat down and I fell in love with the guy. And of course, that's the spiritual faith center of Syracuse University, of the campus, and it's interfaith and everyone comes there. And I just thought, man, that's what Jazz Fest is all about. It's about bringing people together, and so is Hendricks Chapel. And we're on the quad where so many great things happened for me as a student. You know, it just all came together kind of organically, and it's really been a magical way to end the festival. We've had a relationship with HBCU colleges and universities, and historic black colleges and universities. For those who don't know, HBCU is an acronym. I think most people do, but they've always put a stunning exclamation point on the festival. Mm-hmm. It is really something you don't want to miss. And I'm so happy that it takes place on campus, because I saw so many great gospel artists on campus at Jabberwocky when that nightclub was happening in the basement at Kimmel Dining Hall.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful scene. The quad is looking fantastic. Another environment in which to enjoy some great music, and I see the festival. The partying of Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday, this sort of soul calming moment on the quad with this choir. I think it's going to be a phenomenal experience. I'm really looking forward to it.
I am as well, and I look forward to it every year. And I would be very disappointed if we didn't end the festival with it. You know, you asked a while ago about Micron continuing on. All we can do is show them a great experience, give them participation in a wonderful event that connects to the community, celebrates the community, invites and welcomes everyone in the community. And, you know, we want to certainly welcome and invite Micron to our community too. So I'm glad they're joining forces with us. I hope they stay with us a long time. I hope Syracuse University continues to stay with us. You know, things change around us, but we need traditions. We need traditions and we need things that bring us together now more than ever.
Yeah.
I'd like to think Jazz Fest helps that in some way.
It does, but it does. It does. You and I have had this conversation many times. We're friends, and we like to kick around ideas about life. What's next for you? You've been doing this for quite a while. Is there? I don't want to ask if there is succession planning, but as we think about the next 5 or 10 or 15 years of Jazz Fest, it is such an important part of the cultural landscape of this community that it's tough to imagine it not being around. So, have you given thought to your legacy?
Constantly, yeah. I don't consider it my legacy. If the festival continues and people remember that I was a part of it at some point, that's great. I mean, that makes me feel wonderful because I started it, and I've kind of been the shepherd for a while. I've been its steward for quite a long while. I want the festival to we all want the festival, I think, to continue on for another 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. Let's get to the 50th anniversary or the 60th anniversary. We just made a list of festivals that hit 40, and it's all markets that are bigger than us, and I think I mentioned at the press conference back in the spring that I love it when we win a national championship. I love it when a WAER grad is the chief anchor at the Olympics. I love when we punch above our weight as a market, and I want Jazz Fest to keep continuing. I didn't design it to be a monument to me. I designed it so that it would last, and other people have felt that way. So now, what are we going to do? What does life after Frank look like? Well, we've beefed up our administrative team. We've brought on a good team. We've got some funding banked for next year. There'll be a surplus of some funding. We set up a stock account last year through a philanthropist in town by the name of Jim Carroll from the Maxwell School, who was a fan of Jazz Fest and said, I want this to continue, and I'm going to donate some stock. And if other people want to follow suit, great. So we're putting those oars in the water. Mm-hmm. And we're obviously thinking about how do we make this infrastructure, and maybe this new site factors into that. We'll see, Joe. Everything is experimental, including the weather here. Yeah, but we've got a good weather forecast. We've got a good team assembled. Got a great new site. Got a great new model. New weekend, new month, new format, new indoor, outdoor. Mm-hmm. I think we're building something now that will lend itself to a succession plan. I don't think, and I don't want to sound immodest in saying this, but others have said it to me, so I'll repeat it. I don't think we're going to find another Frank, but if we can find a Frank adjacent, mm-hmm. we'll be okay.
Cheers to that.
And there you go.
Cheers to that. So,
yeah, man.
Jazz Fest, July 9 through 12 on the campus of Syracuse University and Beak and Skiff Orchards. Full schedule is available at syracusejazzfest.com. My guest, Frank Malfitano, not only guest, but dear friend. We've known each other for 30 years, over 30 years since I've been in this market, and it has been a pleasure. And we're really looking forward to another fantastic weekend of live music. Thanks, Frank.
Uncle Joe, I love you. Thank you.